Hi guys, Ray here from City Fan TV, and I'm joined by the B in the bang. Bernard Janine, how you doing, buddy? Bernard Janine. I don't know what that means. Upside down. Oh, a sad heart is that, or is that a heart?
Yeah, a dilapidated heart. That one, I think.
Yeah, last night. Yeah, look, we're recording this video after City put in another abysmal performance. Look, give Villa their credit; they were awesome. They've been fantastic. They've won.
You know what I loved about Villa last night as well, and this is we mentioned momentum on another thing, but the little flicks, the little back heels are working. Bernardo tries them for us and they don't come off, and this is the difference between a team that's flying and a team that's struggling for form.
They're very, very confident. At the moment, especially at home. Their form is fantastic. They've won all 7 league games at home. And the last 7 games of last season, they're on a run of 14 home games on the bounce, wins on the bounce.
That's obviously the best ever, isn't it? I think it's their best ever record.
If they get the 15th, it'll be equal their best ever. But we know they're playing against Arsenal. We know they're going to lose now, or they're not going to win. You know, like City, like Unai Emery's never beaten Pep. They've been drumming that start, and it's happened. So this video is going to be about Pep. About Pep. Now, the last 4 games have been shocking. Absolutely shocking. Pep's... we've talked about it, okay? Pep's persisted with Guardiola.
Let's clarify. Not been shocking, because apart from last night, I thought we'd done very well, but there's been elements of it where the games we should have won and we haven't won, as opposed to a game that we had no chance in.
Oh, yeah. Okay. You're right. You're the man of reason. The previous 3 games, there were shocking performances in that we were not clinical. We created a lot, which was good, but we give up a lot of chances. We weren't scoring, and we were shocking in defence. We've been shocking all season, and that's been plain and obvious to see. And it's persistent. You know, look, we know better than Pep. Aki should be playing rather than Guardiola. Okay, look, even the best can get it wrong, and even the worst can get it right sometimes. Okay, so Aki's.
Yeah, I've been giving Alan coaching tips on my thing. How to score goals. I've been teaching him.
Look, last night, my hope was that we nick a goal and against the run of play. If we scored, it was going to be against the run of play because all the play was coming from Villa. And Haaland had his chances. He had 2, and he fluffed them. As far as I'm concerned, clinical finisher would have got at least one of those in the back of the net, and we'd have walked away with a 1-0 win. That's what some other teams are doing at the moment. The teams that are first and second, that's more like what they're doing, getting these late winners sometimes when they don't deserve it. But I think we're in a bit of a shambles, and people will argue and come on. Oh, well, come on. KDB's injured. He's not the Messiah. He's just an ordinary guy who's a very, very good footballer. Okay? And it's like the team are just waiting for KDB to come back and then flick a switch. By that stage, we've discussed it before, we might be 10 points behind. And we ain't coming back if we're 10 points behind, in middle of January and KDB's fit. But my question is, okay, funny thing is, we spoke probably a month, 6 weeks ago, about Pep, about extending his contract, and you were all up for it, and I went along with you. You know, I was up for it. Pep,
sure? I'm sure I was against it. You were for it. I can't remember now.
Behave yourself. We said no, and I quote, 10 years would be a good number.
Yeah.
So but okay.
I don't mind Pep staying on as number 2 to Vinny or something like that. Yeah.
To Arteta, yeah, as number 2 to Arteta or Unai Emery. But the question is, I showed you this graph once about players who have gone over the top, and Ferran Soriano, our chief executive, said and he didn't say just about players; it's about managers too, to recognise when they're on the way down and ditch them. And most players we've ditched haven't gone on to do anything. Okay, I think most of them. I would like to include Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko in that, but hey, they might win the league this season. But it applies to managers too. So, this is, hey, people might say this is a knee-jerk reaction from two old jerks. But
Hey, you don't have my opinion. One old jerk, please, at the moment.
all right, fair enough. Thank you for not including me as the jerk. But what's changed over the last 6 weeks? Are you still in this camp? Pep, you'll extend Pep as long as he wants. I think that's just a bit of guff, but would you extend him?
As long as he wants to, mate. As long as he's hungry. That's what we see. We seem to be lacking hunger on the pitch.
Yeah.
So we need hunger from Pep. He's certainly been talking the game, hasn't he? He's been very positive in we're going to win a 4th title. Obviously might have been tongue in cheek, etc., etc. But he's, at the end of the day, as long as Pep's hungry, I don't see anyone better than him available. As long as he's hungry for it, and the players look as though they begin to get hungry for it. Well, all right, I'm not going to base it on one game. The other games I'll write off as, we looked okay for most of the games, but obviously the Villa game was something a little bit different, wasn't it? We saw a little bit of it was like boys against men, and Villa were the men, unfortunately. Yeah. So we've got to see that hunger from Pep. I think we are at the moment, and I think Pep's clever enough that it's not going to change. I mean, he's got his systems, hasn't he? He needs certain players for his systems. Perhaps at this point in time, he's acknowledging that we've made an error. Perhaps released 1 or 2 players that we shouldn't have released, and he's not been able to replace them, has he? So he's struggling at the moment, but that doesn't mean he's not going to go on and get us a quadruple or a thing in the next 2 or 3 years.
Let's see. For me, letting Laporte go, that was a no-brainer. No biggie. Mahrez, I can understand it. He wasn't a first-team player, and we let him go. He wanted to go for the money. Obviously, no, sorry. He wanted to go for the prestige of playing in the Saudi League, money. If you Riyadh, if you're listening, if you're watching, buddy, okay, you want to dispute that, you come on and have a chat with me, but keep it real, okay?
Bring us a suitcase of money with you as well.
25 million good reasons why Mahrez has gone to Saudi Arabia. But the one that I was really disappointed to lose, and was Ilkay Gundogan. Now, how much blame? Because I'm apportioning blame, because he should have been offered an extension. We discussed this previously. He should have been offered an extension when he had 1 or 2 years left, because he was the last 3 seasons of Gundogan since David Silva has left. He's been immense, scoring a ton of goals the other season, coming through against Villa, coming through last season, coming through so many times in clutch moments. FA Cup final. Who's your man? Gundogan. Oh, sorry, Gundogan. So he's your man. Whose fault is it that we let him go? We didn't offer him enough, because I think Gundogan in this, even with all right, he might not have changed last night's results. I think Gundogan, without KDB in this City side, we'd be top of the table. Said it. We'd be top of the table. So whose fault is it that he's gone?
Well, we usually get to know a little bit when a player leaves, don't we? But from what I've read, at the end of the day, I think Gundo did want to stay. I think City didn't get him down, sit him down early enough and show that we really wanted him to stay. I mean, you've mentioned the Villa game there where he literally won the league for us. That a couple of seasons ago. He still had 2 seasons left, of course. Was it 2 or 3 at the time? But that's when he should have been sat down. But obviously, Pep thinks, and as you said about these curves, obviously Pep and Cheeky thought he was over that curve, didn't he? They've made a mistake probably from a City point of view, because all right, he's not pulling up trees at Barcelona, I don't think.
He's doing okay, but
but all I'm saying, it's not a matter what he's doing at Barcelona; it's what he could do for City. Yeah. And I think, there's an error been made, and it is an error. But as I said, I think Gundo would have been willing to stay. But we just didn't approach it the right. I think we offered him something, but it wasn't enough financially. It wasn't enough time. It was a mistake. It's a mistake as simple as that, and we have to accept it is. It is definitely a mistake.
So basically, yeah. So we are unlucky, and I can't title this video "Sack Pep," Bernard says sack Pep, which is, but because it's not
what we usually have though. I mean, you think Fernandinho and Rodri, we always have that sort of cover coming in. But what we did wrong, obviously, we brought in people like Kovacic and Nunes, etc. But they've not a chance to bed in the system. So we've thrown them in the deep end, haven't we? So, but we had no one to cover for Gundo. Who was going to cover for Gundo? And the fact that KDB got injured, of course, again, in my eyes, was a mistake. I think he should have had his operation way before he did. And that's another mistake. But Pep must have had an idea who was going to play that role.
Yeah.
But we've not seen anyone doing it because he's been messing around with the bloody team.
Yeah, by finding who can do the Rico Lewis role, trying to get Gvardiol to do it.
And then he's turning Rico Lewis. It's a totally different subject. We don't want to go off what we're talking about, but he's trying to get Rico Lewis to do a totally different role again. Even though we know what he's good at.
Yeah, he's probably playing a role that he's not used to, like putting Gvardiol into the midfield. Gvardiol can't do it. Pep said so a month ago. Gvardiol hasn't got a clue. He said,
Kanji, the same. I mean, what's Pep? I mean, but he seems to be just going around in circles, trying things that just aren't working.
The other thing is Rodri. Okay, Rodri's missed 4 games this season. Okay, we lost them all, if I remember correctly. We lost them all, and we've got no one to cover for Rodri. They've got Calvin Phillips, and they refuse to play him. Now, honestly, are you telling me Calvin Phillips is so poor that he can play for England and do all right, but he can't get on in a game like last night? Can't forget about starting. He couldn't even come in the sub. Oscar Bob, all right, we needed a goal. Oscar Bob comes on. But I'm sorry, there's mistakes being made. I don't think Cheeky's bought Calvin Phillips. Who bought Calvin Phillips? It's got to be Pep. Pep's got to have a say in that. And Pep, you can make errors in judgment, but we should have sorted it out once. We should have sorted it out in the summer. We need somebody to cover for Rodri. Like you said it previously, it would have made all the difference last night, having somebody else, a good Rodri there. We needed probably 3 more players. Probably 3 more players than them. We needed 14, but we needed 3 more players who were
at it. So we needed players to be at it, and not a single player was really at it, apart from Edison having to try and save a few shots. That was about it.
Yeah. Okay, so in summary, Pep stays. All right, go on.
Of course he does. Of course Pep stays. We'll get there. We'll get there. Would you swap him for Ten Hag tomorrow?
Please. Hey, come on, mate. Come the weekend. No, they won't be above us, but they could be level points with us after we lose to Luton. Oh, dear me. Anyway.
Who've United got just a matter of opinion at weekend?
Honestly, what's wrong with you? You're asking about who Man United have got.
Well, you do.
They got home to Bournemouth.
Right, so we get 3 points. We're going to get 3 points at Luton. No doubt about that whatsoever.
So it won't be till Christmas that United overtake us.
Well, they'll overtake us when we go to this World Club thing, because they might get an extra couple of points and we'll be playing catch up.
Yeah, all right, buddy. Right, buddy. We could drag this on all night, but
we love Pep. He's a bloody idiot. He gets on my nerves, but we love him.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks a lot, mate. You take care. See you around, Blues.